If you're watching this, something went wrong. The video opens like a hidden transmission, not normal content. It slowly reveals that reality is being filtered, controlled, and edited in real time, and a small number of people accidentally slip past that filter. The viewer is told they are one of those anomalies. Strange experiences like deja vu, repeated patterns, and sudden emotional shifts are reframed as system error, not coincidences. The deeper the video goes, the more personal it becomes, almost like it's tracking the viewer. Ending hits hard. If you understood even a part of this, the system already knows, and it doesn't ignore mistakes. One day, everything stopped, except you. The story begins in a normal setting, then suddenly all movement freezes, people, sound, even light. Only the viewer is aware. As they move through the frozen world, subtle inconsistencies appear. Objects slightly off, shadows not aligned. Then comes the reveal. Reality isn't continuous. It's refreshed in intervals. What you experienced was the gap between updates. Ending twist splits perception. Next time it happens, you might not be the one who's still moving. You're not here for the first time. This outline plays with repetition and memory loop. The viewer is guided to recall patterns in their lives, same choices, same mistakes, same feelings. It slowly introduces the idea that life is being replayed, not lived linearly. Each loop feels new because memory resets are incomplete. Small fragments leak through. Intuition, gut feeling, deja vu. Ending lands heavy. And every time you watch this, it feels like the first time. But it never is. You've never actually seen the real world. This one starts calm and philosophical, then becomes unsettling. It explains that everything we experience, color, sound, touch, is just interpretation inside the brain. But then it pushes further. If all experience is internal, then the idea of an external world becomes unprovable. The twist isn't loud, it's quiet and disturbing. Ending, maybe there is something out there, or maybe there never needed to be. Time isn't passing, you are. The video challenges the idea of time as something real. It explains how the brain constructs the feeling of flow, while in reality everything exists in a fixed state. What we call movement is just awareness shifting across moments. The unsettling part. If time doesn't move, then nothing truly changes. Ending. You didn't come from the past, and you are not going to the future. You've always been here. There are parts of your life you can't remember, and that's not normal. It starts relatable. Everyone has memory gaps, but then it escalates. What if those gaps aren't natural? The idea is introduced that certain memories are removed to maintain stability. The more important the truth, the more likely it is erased. Subtle hints appear. Moments that feel incomplete, emotions without core. Ending hits quietly. You're not forgetting. Something is making sure you don't remember. What if no one else is actually real? This outline explores isolation in a psychological way, not in a literal nothing exists sense. It suggests that every person you meet is filtered through your perception so heavily that what you experience is more your version than reality. Conversations, reactions, even personalities are interpreted constructs. Ending leaves a haunting thought. You've never met anyone, only your understanding of them. You're trapped, but there are no walls. This one blends motivation with dark philosophy. It explains how beliefs, fears, and conditioning shape a person's entire experience. The world becomes a reflection of internal limits. The twist is that the prison isn't external, it's self-sustained. Ending line hits strong. The door was never locked, you just never tried to open it. The world disappears when you stop observing it. This outline introduces observer-based reality in a cinematic way. It suggests that details only exist when focused on, while everything else remains undefined. Everyday examples for getting where you place something. Noticing new details suddenly are reframed as rendering delays. Ending builds tension. So the question is, what's happening right now in the places you are not looking? I shouldn't be explaining this. The video builds like a forbidden message. Each idea gets deeper, pushing the viewer to question more. But with every step, there's a sense of risk, like understanding itself has consequences. The tone becomes more urgent. Ending leaves a chilling implication. Some truths don't set you free. They remove the version of you that needed the illusion. What is the voice in your head isn't you. It starts with something deeply personal. The inner voice everyone trusts. Slowly, doubt is introduced. Where do thoughts come from? Why do some ideas feel random, intrusive, or out of place? The video builds the idea that thoughts might be influenced, triggered, or even inserted. Not in a sci-fi way, but subtly, psychologically. Ending hits quietly. If you're not choosing every thought, then who is? You're not experiencing reality, you're receiving it. This flips the idea of control. The video suggests that your senses act like receivers, not creators, like a signal being decoded. It builds tension by comparing humans to antennas, picking up information rather than generating it. Then comes the twist. If you're receiving reality, it can be changed before it reaches you. Ending leaves a lingering question. So what version are you actually seeing? There's something in your environment you've never truly seen. The hook pulls attention to unnoticed details. The video guides the viewer to look around and realize how much they ignore daily. Then it escalates. What if important things are hidden in plain sight because the brain filters them out? The unsettling idea, reality isn't hiding things, your mind is. Ending, and if something is always there but never seen, does it even count as hidden? You didn't choose who you are. It begins with identity, beliefs, habits, fear, then slowly breaks it down. Most of it was shaped before awareness. Childhood, environment, repetition. The twist is not aggressive, it's revealing. The person you think you are might be a constructed pattern. Ending lands strong. You are not discovering yourself. You are uncovering what was written. What if you only exist when something is aware of you? This takes the observer concept deeper. It suggests existence depends on awareness, not just yours, but something else. The video builds tension around the idea that being unseen might mean being undefined. Ending is subtle but chilly. And right now, something is aware of you. This isn't the life you were meant to live. It starts emotional and relatable. Then shifts. What if life isn't random, but selected? Paths chosen not consciously, but by patterns, systems, or unseen influences. The unsettling twist. Maybe you are not on the wrong path. You were placed on this one. Ending. And the scariest part, it feels like your choice. Your mind is protecting you from the truth. It builds on the idea that the brain filters information for survival. But what if it hides more than just overload? What if it blocks things you are not supposed to process? The tone becomes more intense as it suggests glimpses of reality are intentionally suppressed. Ending. You don't see everything because you are not meant to. You are always slightly behind reality. The video introduced a subtle delay between events and perception. Science-based but turned philosophical. Everything you experience has already happened milliseconds before you notice it. Then the twist, you are never in the present, you are always in the past. Ending, you are not living the moment, you are remembering. Reality changes based on what you expect. This one focuses on perception bias. The brain predicts and fills gaps, meaning we often see what we believe, not what is. The unsettling part: two people can live in completely different realities while standing in the same place. Ending. So the question isn't what's real, it's what you're prepared to see. The moment you look away, something shifts. This outline builds tension around unseen changes. Objects, environments, even people subtly altering when not observed. It doesn't confirm, it suggests that uncertainty creates fear. Ending line is simple but effective. Try it and don't blink too long. You think you wake up every morning, but you don't. This outline introduces the idea that consciousness never fully resets. Instead, awareness carries fragments from previous cycles. Small inconsistencies like déjà vu or unexplained familiarity are signs of partial continuity. The unsettling idea is that awakening is just switching between layers of awareness, not starting fresh. Ending. You've never had a first moment, only the illusion of one. Everything you see is already edited before you notice it. The video explains sensory filtering, how the brain removes most of reality to avoid overload. Then it pushes further. What if the filtered parts aren't random? What if certain information is intentionally removed from awareness? The viewer is left questioning what is missing rather than what is seen. Ending. You don't live in reality, you live in what remains after deletion. You call it habit, but it might be something else. The outline explores behavioral loops. The same decisions, reactions, and mistakes repeat across time. Instead of free will, the video suggests pattern execution. The twist is subtle. Awareness doesn't break the loop, it just notices it. Ending. And noticing doesn't always mean escaping. Reality depends on your agreement. The idea here is that perception stabilizes experience. If belief collapses, consistency breaks. The video builds tension around the idea that reality might be maintained through collective assumption. Ending. And if belief is what holds it together, what happens when you stop believing? It only feels like you are. This one removes the concept of movement through time. Instead, everything exists simultaneously, and awareness shifts between states. The illusion of past, raw present, future is a perception trick. Ending. You are not going forward, you are only shifting focus. The moment you think about this, it responds. This creates psychological tension by linking awareness and reaction. The video suggests that attention itself triggers changes in perception. The viewer is made hyper-aware of their own thinking process. Ending. And now that you are thinking about it, it already changed. You don't see the world, you reconstruct it. The brain builds a complete image from incomplete data. The video pushes this idea further. What if the reconstruction is more imagination than reality? Gaps are filled automatically, meaning accuracy is never guaranteed. Ending. You've never seen reality, only your version of it. If you stop paying attention, it disappears. This outline explores selective awareness. The world outside focus becomes undefined, not absent. It creates a sense that attention gives structure to reality itself. Ending. So what happens to everything you are not thinking about right now? This experience is not random. The video suggests structure behind life events, not destiny, but controlled patterns of experience shaping perception. Everything feels personal, but may follow invisible design logic. Ending. And the more meaningful it feels, the more carefully it might be arranged. There is a point of understanding you can't come back from. This outline builds tension around irreversible awareness. Once certain ideas are understood, perception cannot return to normal, but instead of clarity, it brings instability. Ending, and the strange part is, most people avoid reaching it without knowing why. You think you observe freely. This outline explores selective perception on a deeper level. The idea is that attention itself might be guided by internal and external constraints. You only notice things your mind is prepared to process. Everything else simply never reaches awareness. The twist is subtle. Reality isn't hiding things. You are being filtered before you even look. Ending, so the question is, who decides what you are allowed to see? What if every choice creates a different version of you? This explores branching reality, not as fantasy, but as perception shift. Every decision feels final, but in theory, alternate outcomes continue in conceptual form. The video builds the idea that your identity is just one active path among many possibilities. Ending, and somewhere, every version of you thinks they are the real one. You don't remember the past, you reconstruct it. This outline focuses on memory distortion. Each recall is slightly altered by current emotion, beliefs, and context. Over time, your past becomes a rewritten version of events rather than an exact record. The twist is that identity itself is based on edited data. Ending, so if your past keeps changing, what exactly are you built on? The moment you focus on something, it stabilizes. This explores the idea that attention gives structure to experience. Without focus, things feel undefined or unnoticed. The video builds tension around perception shaping reality consistently. Ending. So if everything depends on attention, what exists when you stop looking? This moment feels familiar because it is. The outline creates a loop sensation from the start. It suggests that endings are not unique but repeated in different forms across experiences. The viewer is guided to feel déjà vu while watching. The twist is not explanation but recognition. Ending, and if you felt this before, then you already know how it ends. You never touch reality, only signals. This outline goes deeper into perception mechanics. It explains that everything touch, sound, sight is converted into electrical signals before reaching awareness. What you experience is not the world itself, but a translated version created by the brain. The twist is subtle but powerful. If everything is translation, then original reality is never actually experienced. Ending. So what you call real is already one step removed from truth. You are always reacting to the future your brain already imagined. This outline focuses on prediction systems in cognition. The brain constantly predicts what will happen next and adjusts perception accordingly. The experience of now is actually a correction of prediction errors. The twist is that you are never fully in the present. You are always catching up. Ending, so maybe you are not living life, you are just correcting it. There is a version of you that exists outside your awareness. This explores subconscious identity layer. While you believe you are one unified self, most actions, reactions, and decisions are handled beneath conscious awareness. The you that you identify with is only a small part of a larger system. The twist, most of your life is not consciously chosen. Ending, and the real question is, who is actually running the rest? What if everything you've just heard was not information, but a reflection? A reflection of the part of you that already feels something is off. Because the truth is, the most dangerous idea is not that reality is fake, but that you might never be able to fully trust how you experience. You wake up, you see the world, you make decisions, you feel emotions, but all of it passes through systems you never consciously control. Your brain filters, predicts, edit, and reconstruct everything in real time, while you believe you are simply living. And here's the shocking part. You never actually touch reality itself. Not once. You only experience what your mind allows you to experience, which means everything you call certain is already one step away from truth. Even your memories are not fixed. They shift every time you recall them. Even your present moment is slightly delayed, reconstructed, and interpreted before you become aware of it. So the question is no longer what is real. The question becomes who is the one experiencing. Because if everything you know is filtered, interpreted, and shaped before it reaches you, then the version of you that you trust might only be a small piece of something far larger. And maybe the deepest truth is not that the world is fake, but that reality was never meant to be fully understood from inside it. Because the moment you think you figured it out, you are still inside the system trying to observe itself. And that changes everything.